The Book of Clarence is a movie directed by James Samuel, and it stars Lakeith Stanfield, Alfre Woodard, and David Oyelowo, among others. This movie is set during like biblical times. It's set when Jesus was here on earth about like over 1,000 years ago, doing all these fantastical miracles he's been doing for people, like making the blind see, healing people, stuff like that. And it follows Clarence during that time as he is there witnessing all these things. But Clarence himself is not a Christian, and he is like an atheist and does not believe in Jesus. But he himself, Clarence, is needs to pay his debt. He's kind of poor and doesn't have a lot of money, and is trying to find ways to regain money. And if he doesn't find enough money, he's gonna be crucified, which means he's gonna be killed. If you guys didn't know what that meant, and so Clarence is kind of freaking out. How am I going to earn money? And he realizes that Jesus himself has so much fame and fortune because of all the healing that he does for people, and everyone wants to see him and praise him and do all this stuff. So Clarence thinks, maybe if I myself pretend that I can do all these miracles and become the next Messiah, maybe I can get as much fame and fortune as Clarence can. And so yeah, that is the main premise of this movie. And before we start this review, I do want to preference one thing. This movie is a biblical movie, obviously, from what I described, and myself, I'm a Christian, so that is what that's the eyes that you are guys are going to see me review this from. I am a Christian, therefore I'm gonna review this movie as knowing the Christian values and just how biblically accurate everything is, and just how much it does justice to God himself and Jesus. And yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know that I am a Christian myself, so that is kind of the viewpoint that's my viewpoint of when going into this movie. I was just wanting a nice Christian fun movie that maybe has a little redemption story for Clarence and stuff like that. And with all that being said, let's get into what I think of the Book of Clarence. What do I think of it? Let's see. Okay, so yes, guys, like I said, this movie is directed by James Samuels, and just get right into what I thought about this movie. I am not a fan of this movie. I think this movie does not do a really good job of just being just doing the story justice, and like the giving the miracles that Jesus has done in the past any credit that he did like during that time, and I just feel like it was very just very fantasy-esque and not very as much realism as I would have liked it, because they are dealing with some pretty nitty-gritty source material here. Clarence himself was not a real person. It's a fictional story. The viewpoint of Clarence is all fictional and was added onto the story to make it its own thing. And while I do think that is pretty cool, and I think the main idea of this movie is really good, and does have a lot of opportunities of teaching um, people of, if you don't believe in God, then not everything is gonna go your way, and you need God in order to just fulfill everything you need to fulfill. But sadly, I do not think that this movie achieves that message 100% like I would like it to. Before I get into my like nitpicks of in this movie, the stuff that I didn't like about this movie, I do want to get my positives out of the way, because believe it or not, there is a few that does not save the movie at any rate. But I mean, I do gotta give these positives of the movie and give it some credit. And even though I don't think any of you guys at any rate should go and see this movie, but I feel like the first positive that I have is James Samuel's direction. I feel like that this movie does a really good job at um, just all the camera angles and the cinematography in here. There's some actiony moments in here with some like horse races, chariot races, and just stuff that does put you at the edge of your seat and makes you focused and into the movie, because there's lots of action going on, and I feel like those scenes in here where there's a lot going on, a lot of dancing, lots of action, something like that. I feel like they are really well done. They are very you can just feel the tension with the way that he uses his close-ups, his POV shots too, his just every technique that you can use in filmmaking, he uses in this movie to at least make it look a little compelling. So I really enjoyed that. Another thing that I feel like this movie does pretty well is has a good cast. I feel like the cast in this movie does a pretty good job. First off, let's start with Luke Keith Stanfield. I feel like Luke Keith Stanfield does a really good job with the material he is given. He just plays the dramatic moments very well, but also balancing the comedy in this movie. So I feel like good job to Keith Stanfield, because he is a good actor, and the scenes that did work in here, I feel like that he did play him very well. You also have a supporting cast of Alfre Woodard, um, uh, who else is in this movie? Like Benedict Cumberbatch, I think, is in this movie. He's not in it that much. I don't really understand the point of his character being in here. I'll talk about a little bit more of that in my negatives, but I just feel like the whole cast, Luke Keith Stanfield, Alfre Woodard, Benedict Cumberbatch. So yes, guys, that is my positives of this movie. But sadly, like I said before, that does not like the negatives of this movie sadly do outweigh the positives of this movie, and I think the main negative that I have in this movie is it does go against the gospel. It does go against the it just doesn't give the wonders and just the awesome things that God has done in the past at that time any credit. It kind of makes up its own thing to make it funny, to make it just compelling, to make it different. And but when you have a story of a man who's trying to who you want to root for to get become a Christian by the end and see all the wonderful things that God can do for him. When you have a movie that doesn't really exactly show all the wonderful things that God can do for you, and just kind of makes up its own thing and its own miracles that God has done, and just shies away from the moments that can make it very thought provoking. That doesn't really make the narrative the most compelling and the most thought provoking because that's not what you promised with this movie, if that makes sense. Another thing is there's lots of plot points in here that just make no sense. You have Luke Stanfield's character, you have this like girlfriend in here that does absolutely nothing. I have no idea why she's in the movie. You also have just a bunch of characters that appear at the end of the movie that don't really have any like payoff. There's some characters that including the girlfriend, you just are so confused why they're in this movie. A main example that I have is Benedict Cumberbatch. I'm still not quite sure the character that he plays in this movie. He pops up so randomly, and I just feel like there's so much filler in this movie to just make the character try to make the character arc of Clarence a little bit more compelling and get to know him a little bit more. But that's not what you come to this movie to see. You want to see him succeed in growing his faith and stuff like that. And you don't get that with this movie because there's just lots of false information about Jesus. And so, and stuff that's the stuff that isn't is totally like glossed over. So you don't get a very compelling narrative because of that point. And so yes, and also the ending of this movie, I am going to spoil because I do want to talk about that. So, spoiler warning, message on the top. Once that goes away, I am going to not be spoiling it, and then I will end this video. But yeah, just skip until you see this red warning, spoiler warning sign go away. So, at the end of this movie, you have, Clarence, being crucified. He did not end up owning enough money, and he is a Christian by the end. He somehow doesn't make enough money. I forgot the exact reason, but yeah, he's getting crucified, and he gets crucified, and he dies. He's dead. And because he is a good person by the end and does become a Christian, Jesus walks in to his tomb and resurrects him, makes him alive. And I just feel like that message, that ending message of the movie, of if you believe in Jesus, your whole life is gonna be great. You're not gonna go through any pain. You're not gonna go through, you're not, it, like your life's gonna be completely perfect, is basically what I got from the ending of this movie, and that is not right. I mean, it is true, if Jesus isn't in your life, you're gonna have so much more help, in your life than if you didn't, but your life is still gonna have trials and tribulations and learning experiences. And because you're gonna have learning experiences, you're gonna go through hardships. And I just feel like that ending of Jesus resurrecting Clarence, just, I don't know, I feel like I got that message from the end, which is not the message that I really wanted. So yes, guys, I feel like the ending of the movie is basically what I was saying in the spoiler warning, if you guys didn't know, if you skipped through it. But I just feel like the overlying message of the movie just ruins the whole movie and ruins the point of this movie. There's not really a point of this movie by the end of it, and if you're going into this movie, you probably want a thought-provoking story and not to feel confused with this movie. And I feel like just everything that's portrayed in this movie just makes you not really sure about, like if you're a non-believer, makes you unsure uh, if you should still believe in God or not. It doesn't really convince you. And when you're watching a Christian movie, you kind of want to be convinced that Jesus Christ is a great Savior, Lord, all of that. So yes, guys, that is my thoughts on the Book of Clarence. I was not really a big fan. But if you guys have seen Book of Clarence, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. What did you guys think of Book of Clarence? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Let me know all your thoughts in the comment section down below. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. Like this video and subscribe to my channel. After you subscribe, hit that bell notification after you subscribe so you can be notified every time I upload a new video like this one. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.